Hey guys, welcome to Sopi Studio Umbiamas, conectando Aruba com o mundo via vídeo podcasting. Conectar conosco, compartilhar ideias e histórias para nos inspirar e para conan abrir. Sopi Studio é plataforma de podcast na Aruba. Follow-nos riba Facebook, subscribe riba YouTube ou riba plataforma de podcast preferido. Escute o podcast preferido que hora e onde cutar. Sopi Studio, powered by Qredits. Botiu ideia? Qredits educa e prepara a abo para ser um empresário exitoso. De business plan, guia personal e préstamo para negócio até com 100,000 florin. Bira para mês donho com Qredits. Sopway. Passa na Sopway para o sop, salada, wrap ou flatbread e mais fresco. Com 7 localidades rond Aruba. Nós está cerca de Ibo. Sopway. SwingMasterz. Organizando events, conferences of weddings. Mister de luz, sound, staging, DJ, trussing of flat screen. SwingMasterz está claro para ser boa festa éxito. SwingMasterz. E agora, Sopi Studio é plataforma de podcast de Aruba, está apresentar
PillowTalk, powered by SuccessBlizz. There is no force more powerful than a woman determined to rise. Yonilove, seduce from within. Matiz, enhancing your brand.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to PillowTalk on Sopi Studio. Hello, my beautiful people. How are you doing this evening?
Hola, hola.
Hi, how are you? I'm doing awesome. And how are you, Chuchi, all the way in Nueva York?
I'm very good. Happy to be back with you.
Nice. So tell me. Let's start with you, Brian, because you're the one who does it the best.
Okay, let's start with the sponsors. So let's thank you, Sopi sponsor Qredits and SwingMasterz. And let's thank you, the sponsors of PillowTalk is SuccessBlizz, Yonilove Aruba, and Matiz Marketing Agency. Thank you so much for making this show possible.
Awesome. Super. Wow, Brian. So this evening, we're going to talk about a topic that is dear to a lot of people in the sense as to it's a very touchy topic. It's called sexual harassment. Everybody, one way or the other, has encountered some kind of sexual harassment in their time in life, either on the workforce, either in your daily life, as a child, as a grown-up, whatever it may be. But sexual harassment is no joke. Unfortunately, people downgrade it in so many ways. And today in PillowTalk, we wanted to talk a little bit more about it. What is it? Why is it? How is it? You know, just everybody's opinions and thoughts and experiences. Because it is definitely not a joke. And for those of you out there, you're not alone. Sexual harassment happens to everybody, as small as it may be, as big as it may be. If you feel uncomfortable, it is definitely sexual harassment. Ariana, I'm going to start with you because, I'm sure for you it is a topic also very close to you. Yeah. So, tell me a little bit more.
Okay, so first thing, I've been telling these ladies that for this podcast recording, I have to really breathe through because I have myself in the past, I was a victim of sexual harassment, and I can say from coming from being a victim to a survivor, then to being able to create an awareness for other ladies or people in general. So here goes. I used to work for a company a while back, and I was very younger than I am today, and it was actually my first job, and I didn't really know much, and I got a really good salary, and I loved the job. So for me, it was amazing to earn such salary at that age and being a young mom. So I bared with a lot of things that at first I thought, okay, these things can happen in the workplace. And then when I really started noticing what was actually happening, that I was targeted by the company, by the manager of the company. And it started as a simple, the guy touched my hair and he did as if he wanted to smell it. And all my other colleagues they turn around and look like, what? And they automatically assume that Ariana must be sleeping with the manager. And I didn't have anything with him. So it started from that. Then it went over to, would you like to, can you make me a cup of tea? Every time I'm working, can you make me a cup of tea? And I thought I can't say no to the manager, so I made him his cup of tea. And then so many things. I can share how many things had happened, because again, I was in a stage that I didn't want to lose my job, and it was being able to let him be happy, so he wouldn't even dare to fire me or anything. And I remember there was an incident where he became so angry because there was some misinformation that was told to him, and he came out and he sent his assistant to tell me to go do a drug test, because he was so overworked that he couldn't believe that I answered him when he was giving me how do you say, like not a warning, but he was verbally
Abusive.
yes, telling me that the mistake I made, and which he didn't even hear my side of the story. Being a manager, you have to be able to manage both sides of if there is a conflict in your company, right? So I did the drug test. I passed the drug test, of course, and then it went a bit further. I took all the steps that you get to take here on the island. So I went to DPL. Then I don't remember the other one, the Directie Arbeidszaken, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And I reported him. I reported the supervisor, because everybody knew what was happening, but everybody kept quiet. So then I remember I became overstressed, so I was sent home to rest by the company's doctor. Told me to don't be in contact with work anymore because it was very intense. And then when I went back to work, I thought, oh, they gave him a warning, because he didn't even greeted me when I came to work. The supervisor wasn't talking to me. So I'm like, okay, something must have been done. Little did I knew, a bit of a month after, no, it was like a week after, he made the biggest move that made me quit my job. And what did he do? This guy had the audacity to pull my hair. Pull it three times, like as
BDSM.
if, yes.
As he's having sex with you. Oh.
And he told me, what are you going to do about it? And I froze.
He challenged you.
I froze, and the only thing I remembered was I told him to please let my hair go, because you're gonna get a lot of problem. This is going to be a lot of trouble.
He misused his authority.
He picked up the pen I had in front of me, and he told me, just write down with one word, what type of problem am I going to get myself into with you? And literally, I was thinking that I wanted to stab him, because I felt helpless. And it was me and him. He closed the doors, because I was working as a cashier, and he closed both doors. And literally nobody passed by, nobody noticed anything. And he did it, he held my hair, pulled it back 3 times, and then he let it go. He walked beside me, and then he told me, I'm gonna call you later back into the office. And then he left. And that's when I freaked out, and I'm like, I'm not staying here. I cannot finish my shift. This is not okay. So the supervisor noticed, and I told her what happened, and she told me, you know why he's doing that? Because he's not getting anything from the other colleagues. Because then I got to hear that he has been blackmailing or bribing the other colleagues for sex.
That's insane.
Yes.
You know, I'm gonna step in between. So your story, and I appreciate you sharing. Thank you for sharing, because it's not easy for everybody to share their sexual harassment experience. Now, in this case, luckily, it was only hair pulling in that sense.
Yes.
It didn't go any further. But in the same breath, unlucky, because he had an inappropriate approach, which was incorrect. You don't touch somebody without their consent. We have spoken about a lot. Consent is extremely important. Now, there's one of the accounts I follow on Instagram, and it's mainly focused on India. And India has a very high sexual harassment number or situations. And in this specific account, they talk about specifically women, how women are degraded or whatever their issues are put down to like, oh, why is it an issue? So I wouldn't be surprised if you would go and report him and they would be like, oh, but what are you talking about? It was just, he just pulled your hair. It's nothing.
Yeah. And
But they don't understand the consequences behind it.
No, but I think the issue behind sexual harassment is that the way that the law works, the way that justice works with sexual harassment, it does not have that much of a weight on the necessity of it. Because when I went, because the border police came because I had to work my night shift, and he immediately noticed that I wasn't being myself. I wasn't feeling right, and he asked me, and when I told him, he told me, you have to report this to the police. So that was on a Friday. I had to wait till Monday to go. So when I went Monday, you know what the cops did?
They dismissed it.
They look at what I was wearing. And you know what they asked me? That he pulled it really hard. And I flipped.
Yep.
Because I'm searching for help. And that's the help that I got. And they said me, no, you can't come here because do you have bruise marks?
Then it's
I
not
said,
important.
No. So they sent me to the Jeugd- en Zedenpolitie. I got the same. The guy told me, no, you cannot report it because you don't have evidence. I said, I do have evidence. I recorded the guy afterwards because he called me back in his office because he saw me behind his camera that I was being hysterical. I was crying, and he called me back in to ask me what happened. And I told him I didn't like your approach, so stop. And I recorded him. And he told me, okay, but is there something more? So you agree that you approached me. And it wasn't enough, not even in court, because I went to court for 5 years.
And nothing.
And I lost.
No, because you need to start a recording of many events. And that's how I teach my people in such cases, because I don't have those cases anymore, but in the past I did have them. So you need to be very tough in such a situation, because the law is not really behind you, because nothing really physical happened. But if you record such a date, he pulled my hair, I asked him not to pull it, I went to HR, and the next he pulled my leg and his hip, I went to HR. And if you have a record, then you have a case, and then you can win.
But you know what is sad? The fact that you have to build up a case.
Yes.
So the perpetrator can continue to do and be very smart about it, and then just maneuver through the lines, and then you get nothing. So that makes it even worse. And I agree with you in that sense. You have to build a case, unfortunately. And like the police say, do you have any bruises? No? Well, there's not much I can do for you. Unless they beat the crap out of you, or you have bruise marks, or you're losing hair, or you're bleeding. That's the only time we can. And mind you, even at that point, they can still dismiss you.
Yes.
Because for women, sorry, and then I'll let you go. For women all around the world, the first thing they ask you, they did it to you, is what were you wearing? Did you provoke him? Wait, hold on a second. I provoked? What's wrong with you?
You know what, Chantal? I do agree totally with you. It's a hassle. Why women? Why me? And etc. etc. But you are working in a business, in a large company, and this is part of it. It's it's just the same as using your agenda, using a laptop in your business. This is part of being in a large business where men and women work, and some women do accept this. I want to also touch that also, because they don't have boundaries.
Because they don't know better, or they're afraid too.
They are afraid. Yes. Go ahead.
They're afraid for the consequences, because again, unfortunately, in the man-dominated world, in most of the larger business, what happens is that if the woman stands up for herself, she gets a blacklist. She gets a black dot on her forehead, and they make her life miserable. If you as a woman stand up for yourself, what's wrong with you? Why would you stand up for yourself? Who the hell do you think you are? But hold on a second. You're the idiot or the a-hole who is coming in my private personal space when I didn't ask you to or allow you to. So who the hell do you think you are? Brian, I know you wanted to say something.
Yes, I have been trying to get into the conversation, but like Serena Williams with the other Williams, like bam, bam, bam. So I want to start first with actually what means sexual
Yeah,
harassment,
I wrote
because
it down. So
we
go
have to
ahead.
make it okay. Because I want to make it clear that sexual harassment is a form of gender discrimination, and gender discrimination is a person making you feel less because you're gender. And sexual harassment, when we said sexual harassment, we think immediately rape or touching private parts. But sexual harassment can be offensive, can be threatened, can be demeaning, embarrassing, or everything that is similar to
Yeah.
that. And sexual harassment, it doesn't go only with women's but also with men.
Correct.
It can go about gender. It can divide into gender expression and gender identity. um, from my experience with sexual harassment, I'm gay, so hello. I went through a lot since I was in school. Also, you have to keep in mind sexual harassment doesn't only happen at work. It can happen at home. It can happen
At the
at
subway.
school, at the subway. Oh my God, at the subway. Uh, um, so my first experience with sexual harassment was at school with a teacher. This teacher, he used to teach gym, like I don't know, I don't remember how you said it in
Gymnastics.
papiamento or gymnastic. Yes. So he always was like, "Oh, why you're so girly? You're always behind from the guys." And he will always put me in the group of the guys, but always he will be bullying me and making me feel less because I was feminine, because I was not masculine as the other guys. And then last year I went through also a sexual harassment. I went to this party, I got drunk, and then there was two guys that actually they sexual abuse of me. And you know, at the beginning for me was hard because I blame it on me. I was like, it was my fault.
You
I
allowed
got
it to
drunk.
happen, right? Yeah. The thought.
Yeah, and it was hard because you always you always think that you have friends around that you can trust in the people you go out with them. And I was going with what they was doing to me, but I was not aware of what was going on.
But
And I
Brian,
remember many times.
Brian, sorry,
I remember.
you are
Yeah.
what you went through is sexual harassment and sexual abuse. Both.
Obvious. Yes.
Okay, let's be very what you went through was is very 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 and the consequences for the perpetrators are much more
Grave.
yeah
The gravity of the
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
But I decided not going through that
Why
because
not?
it's hard. Is I forgive them. I step away, and I decide not to go through that because um it's 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 hard. It's hard to just getting the proof, getting the evidence. Their way to deal with the problem was to make it normal. I even tried to talk to them that I was not feeling well with what happened, and their way was like, "Oh, we was all drunk and we was having fun, and you was enjoying and we was enjoying," but I was not enjoying. I had many times I was throwing up. First, I was throwing up. I was in the restroom throwing up, and I was like, "I'm feeling bad. I'm feeling bad. I want to go." And then they grab me and throw me on the bed and take my clothes off and start doing things to me. And at some point, I remember I tried to walk out and put my clothes on, and they was keep forcing me. And I was like, no, I don't want. And I was not having control. I don't know how I was able to finally get out Uber and get out of that place. So um, my recommendation to people that go with sexual harassment through sexual abuse is, first you have to, we cannot give you legal advice. That's the first thing. And get a professional, because the mind do things to you that try to normalize what is really hurting you, just to try to protect you. And that happened actually to me. I tried to make it normal. I tried to accept it while I was not feeling good, because I was thinking that, okay, it was my fault, or, oh, we just was trying to have fun. And if you don't feel as good, it's because it really hurts you. It was a really, it was someone abusing of yourself.
I would like to tell everybody that is listening at this moment, if you have been is going through something like this, and you feel what Brian is telling us or what Ariana is telling us, you can get in touch with us, with one of us, and we can guide you through or help you take legal advice of. I had a client coming in last week. This happened to her in her home. She was raped by one of her handymans, and she didn't go to the police because she felt like she didn't want anybody to know, and it was painful. And she just came to me and she called me, Dina, I need to talk to you. Okay, I told her next week I have an opening. So I scheduled her in. I'm not 911, so I'm not going to ask you, is this an emergency or not? Mm-hmm. So when she came and she told me this, I told her, you should have told me at that moment. She was totally emotional. She was crying. She needed someone, and she couldn't open. She didn't have a friend. She didn't have a friend or a mom or a neighbor that she can trust this. So she trusted me, and I think if you are listening to this now, and you one of us, you trust one of us, call us, and we will guide you and help you to reach out to the legally where you should reach out to. Yeah.
So Brian, thank you for sharing, and I really appreciate you sharing the story, because I know how difficult it is, and your point that you said was very, very important. I decided not to go through with it because it was too hard. Unfortunately, the reality is that yes, for a lot of women and men, it is too hard to go through the whole hassle. Dina just said it a while ago. You need to have proof. Yeah. And to go through that proof, it is a continuous painful process. Yeah. So I get it that you don't want to go through with it. I have not had a heavy sexual harassment case myself experience I have had some. I think there's nobody in the world who has not had any kind of sexual harassment or type of abuse in their life. Somebody has gone through one or the other in their life at one time. Now, in your case, Brian, and a lot of people have gone through this, something similar. How difficult is it to say, like, okay, I'm going to stand my ground and I'm going to go through it. I don't want to normalize it. There's so many people who have negative effects after. I mean, if I look here at the definition of sexual harassment, this is harassment, not abuse. There are unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature constitute to sexual harassment when this conduct explicitly or implicitly affects an individual's employment, unreasonably interferes with an individual's work performance, or creates an intimidating, hostile environment. So sexual harassment has so many effects, so many negative effects, and people forget that, hey, I get touched, or I get, we have a situation here. Oh, Brian, I think we lost you, but we'll just, So when we talk about sexual harassment, there's so many factors attached to it. Like somebody just looks at you in an uncomfortable way, it is already sexual harassment, because nobody has the right to take away or to invade your personal space without your consent. Nobody has the right to touch you or to give you advances that'll hurt you. That's not right. Nobody can do that. Nobody can tell you, yes, but if you don't do this for me, then I will take this and this away from you. Well, take it away, man, because I'm coming to get you. Now, for me, it's easy to say. It is easy to say, indeed, because I stand very strongly for it, because I don't agree. I don't think it's right that some idiot thinks it's okay that they can just take away that innocence or that safety feeling from you just because they're pride or whatever it may be. So, yeah, sexual harassment in so many ways can be so damaging. And I'm afraid, because I have a daughter at home who's 10, and when she goes into the outside world, anything can happen. Nobody is prepared for it. Sexual harassment, and if you take it a step further, sexual abuse is insane, and it's so crazy that it just still happens, and then people keep covering it up, and they're still pro the perpetrator and not pro the victim.
For me, the reason why I can understand why Brian you had to go through the process of thinking if you have it in you to want to go and battle this legally, right? So for me, it was okay. I went home for 2 weeks. I did a lot of thinking because I just had a raise of 1,000 guilders at the time. So I was earning, 3,100? A month. And for me at that age, I was 22, 21. I'm like, yeah, baby.
I made it.
I'm paying my car. I paid my loan off. Kids were going to school. Got the rent covered. So it was good. And then I was telling my husband, I don't want to go to work. He's like, but you just got a raise. What do you do? I'm like, because it's not comfortable.
Yes.
And I was dealing already because I was working with people that were coming from abroad every day, because I can't mention where I used to work. And I was dealing already with clients coming in every day, and they were doing as if the girls, the ladies that were working in operations were ladies that meant to be flirted with. And then I got to hear from the supervisor that she was okay with it because she was a Latin woman. And I don't have anything against the Latin community. I know we have different cultures, but this was something that we had addressed at work to say that we don't like for these clients to flirt with us. You come in for business, we handle your stuff, and you get in, and then you depart. It was that simple. So for me, it was like, okay, 2 weeks. My husband was asking me, do you really want to do this? And I'm like, if I don't do it, who is going to do it? So I got called for crazy. I had all my colleagues, they wrote their testimonial against me. They were praising the manager, who was an asshole, because he wasn't doing it to me only. And then when I had to do my search, because I had to go and gather the witnesses, and I got in touch with prior victims that remained quiet. I had more than 5. And when I asked them, can you please speak up in my case, they said no. And these women took bribery money. And then I got a bit deeper in it, and then I got to know that this guy was recording them while he was abusing them. And that was the blackmailing. So when I went to court, I was really pissed off. I had a lot of evidence. I had my recordings. And this guy, if it wasn't for the judge basically changed everything that he said. And I couldn't believe my ears that not even my lawyer stood up for me to say, what are you doing? That's not what he said. And I'm sitting there and what is happening? So the case went a bit quiet because we were awaiting trial. So I went to live back in Holland, and then I got called back, you have to come to court. So that was the first time after 5 years fighting for sexual harassment, the judge asked me to speak up in my own sexual harassment case. I was the main victim, and I didn't get a chance to speak up. So I understand why people that get sexually abused or harassed, or you don't trust the system because you don't get to be heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my point of why do I share this? I think you would rather have a bigger chance in creating awareness than going to fight a legal battle. They offered me bribe money. Take 30 million, and because you don't have anything, you're not gonna get anything out of this case.
And you took it?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I should have taken it, and keep battling because
I should have been your coach.
yes, because definitely
No,
afterwards I
go
went to the psychologist, and I didn't like the experience that I got because it didn't resolve my traumas. It just made it bigger. It just went a bit deeper for me to see how much I had, and then okay, we can't work anymore because the insurance only covers 9 sessions, and that's it. And but yeah, Brian, I think that's one of the reasons why
And I admire you for being that strong and taking that to the court and fighting for it.
yeah,
I was scared to do that. I mean, honestly, this is not my. I'm from Aruba. I'm in a new country.
yeah,
Taking that over, like being in a. It was my first year here, going through that. I was like, even, I really have to be thankful to Dina because she was one of the friends that was there for me. She was not knowing what I was going through. My way of healing was to close myself to any person in any type in any type of relationship, sexually, loving
Emotionally.
relationship. And so I was like not having sex. I was having disgusting of myself. I was not able to touch myself, and then I start exploring. And for the first time, I tried like a sexual toy, and I was like, wow. And I was having fun with myself again, and learning to love myself again, and learning to enjoy an orgasm by myself. And then I slowly down start opening to meet person and start having relationships again with people. But it was hard because it's not easy, and people go through this, and they actually normalize everything. And I was reading, and I was preparing for this podcast, and 5 million of cases of year, there's 5 million of cases a year for sexual harassment. 5 million is almost the city of New York. New York City is 8 million people in New York. So imagine 5 million of people going through this, and I feel like
And don't
it's moment
report
to
it or
stop.
do report it, right?
What,
Exactly.
What are the kind of sexual harassment? You know why? Because sometimes I think my boundaries are I'm too strict. If you see my breast between my décolleté, for me that's harassment. I
Yes.
didn't invite you to
Well,
see there.
Well, I went, like, I used to be human resource assistant in a big company in Aruba, and I used to give like the sexual harassment training, and and it's funny because you can arrest someone like different ways, even outside of work. You can commit sexual harassment to a coworker. So it's not like even at work, but even
In happy hours. After work.
indirect, yeah, even indirectly you can do it also. So if I post something in my social media that is attacking to someone from work, that's actually also a sexual harassment. Once that person bring it to work and it's a problem in work, is work related, it becomes work related, and it's sexual harassment. So is you have to really know when it's sexual harassment, and we have to be honest. But because there's people that can be very dramatic, as you said, like, oh, he's looking to my boobs, it's sexual harassment. Yeah, but what way he's looking at? Because we are not blind.
But-
Like,
Yeah.
if a person is walking naked, you can, like,
But-
I was having a kind of conversation with my mom about that a woman can wear whatever she wants, and she can look pretty, and she can look sensual and whatever, and that's her decision. But once a man abuse of her, is not her fault, it's the man's fault. And is you have to know to respect other people's boundaries.
Yeah.
Ouch.
What-
I-
So I'm going to interrupt you there, Brian, because you said about Dina asked, what is sexual harassment? So I pulled up a report here that was from the U.S. because we don't have any numbers from Aruba. At least I couldn't find them at this point in time. And here it says 69% of women have been sexually harassed in a professional setting. 72% of workplace sexual harassment victims do not report it. 36% of organizations do not offer sexual harassment training. 81% of women have experienced some sort of sexual harassment in their lifetime. 81%. 72% were harassed by someone more senior in their organization. And 57% of employees have left a job because of their manager. And then here's a prevention point. It says 37% of companies haven't implemented any new gender equality initiatives following the Me Too movement. And 51% of organizations have implemented new harassment policies following the Me Too movement. So as you see, some interesting percentages here. Oh, sorry, we got some. This is in the US. And I also looked up what are the top 10 countries. Let me see, countries, which I thought was pretty interesting to mention. The top 10 countries where sexual harassment is seen as the biggest issue. The top 10, so women, 51% in Turkey and 50% men. In India, 47% women as well as men. In Mexico, 52% men and women and 44% women. Men, sorry. Brazil's 37%. And then let me see, US here is 35%. So in Turkey, sexual harassment is highest, the country where the highest sexual harassment happens. And in the United States, well, okay, this is going to sound really weird. It's only 35%. But 35% is still 5 million, which is a lot if you think about it. You know, we have countries as Turkey, India, Mexico, Brazil, Spain, France, US, Italy, Australia, China, South Korea, Germany, United Kingdom, Japan, and Russia. Those are the countries. Russia has the lowest percentage, which is 7%. So they must be doing something right there in the sense it's not tolerating. This Me Too movement, this Me Too movement, which I think was amazing. I remember when it came out, I don't know about you ladies, but, and Jen, when it came out, I know there was a lot of contradiction. People were like, oh, what the hell is this? Who do these people think they are? And I was like, more power to you, man. Me too. Like, I'm not accepting this anymore.
Did you hear or did you watch the Anita Hill documentary?
No.
Oh, that's a very good one. I would recommend everybody watch it. Anita Hill is a black woman that she also fought against sexual harassment. She had a really big case. I don't quite remember. She was working either with a senator or president or something like that, and she still has her movement ongoing. So that's one definitely that came up from the U.S. I wanted to share something because Brian said something back. I don't know, Brian, are you there? Yeah. Okay. So you said something that you don't know or you didn't know at the time when you got that approach on why you couldn't speak up or why it is you felt like you don't want to, but you didn't know how to, to say no. In the time that I did my healing, diving back to understanding why I had such anger coming from, because I already knew what triggered in the traumas that I had with sexual harassment, but what I didn't understand was why I was having that experience. Why couldn't I just have the courage to speak up? So it goes back to our childhood when we get in a situation, for example, that we relied on our parents for safety and secureness, and they were the ones that brushed it off. Mm-hmm. They denied your reality that you were going through something that you didn't like, so your gut was giving you all the signs that this is a huge red flag. But there were people, your caregivers, that told you, no, it's okay. So that in that moment, as children, we tend to separate ourselves, and I'm not a psychologist, this is just me talking how I experienced my interpretation of what it meant. We separate ourselves because you have the fight, flight, or freeze. And in those moments, we get to choose which one is going to ease the
suffering.
Yeah, the suffering that we don't like at the moment, right? And this becomes an emotion that the body will remember. So the body only remembers the emotion. It doesn't remember the experience. Then not necessarily you have to go through the same experience to get that emotion. So it's just a question of you either you're denying your gut, or your gut has you separated the feeling to let it be acknowledged as this is your sixth sense. This is telling you get out, or this is telling you speak up. I had that same experience, and I had as I think many of us as children. There was once a time we went to our mom or our dad and we said, "Mom, I didn't like this happened," and they said, "No, but tomorrow's gonna be a better day." But at the moment, I'm telling you that it didn't go well, and I need you to nurture me as a kid, you know. So I think for that part is something that resonated with me, that I could have understood myself much more, that being able to feel my gut and acknowledge and be able to believe in myself and experience and believe that the way that my consciousness works is not gonna go, against me, so
you know what, I had a teacher, a male teacher, in my office last week. And he came because he saw my workshop Become the New Man on LinkedIn. And he was interested in what I was teaching, because he said he agrees with me, men need other kind of tools to handle women. So during our conversation, he was telling me, Dina, sometimes we as a teacher male, and you have these ladies coming in, and you are taught to not to lower your vision to the breast, and not to see the legs even though the dresses are too high. As a teacher, so you need to maintain the eyesight, the eye to the eye. So he said some men cannot do that. Some men cannot control that beast in them, because it's a beast. Because it's maturity. It's maturity if you can control. So that's why I told him, look, men, if you are listening this and you are standing yourself, look, I'm doing this. I'm harassing my staff. You need to see your staff as your children. Because you are at an authority level. So if you are at an authority level, you need to treat everybody below you, under you, as children, as a parent.
So I'm going to take it a little closer to home. Here in Aruba, we have our language Papiamento. In Papiamento, as we say it in Papiamento itself, ting hopi double sinti. So anything you say has two definitions. It has a decent definition and an indecent definitions. And many times you can say something without being vulgar, but that word can be something extremely vulgar. In the workforce or on the workplace, and I've seen it. I've worked in hospitality for 20 years, so I've been in all departments and I see it. And it's very normal. I don't know if you can put that in a normal, but it's very normal to make jokes with each other. And sometimes they get a little double senti, as we say, two senses. Now, how do you approach those jokes? Some people like it, some people don't. It depends on how you approach it. I personally approach it, when it goes too far, I'm definitely very straightforward. I can handle a joke. Sometimes, it's a very innocent joke. You're just having fun with your colleagues. But I can totally understand that sometimes those jokes go too far. And especially in our language, when you're talking about the teacher, you have to maintain eye contact.
Yes.
And I'm not blaming women. But a woman has her right to dress as she does.
Yes, she does.
That's why they have uniforms, so that everybody is dressed in an appropriate way. Now, a woman can show absolutely nothing but have that sex appeal that she just draws that attention. For a male, it's a little different. And no disrespect to men or women. Male, they can dress in a suit and they can look extremely delicious, but you don't have that same kind of sex appeal need. It's very different. Women have a more respectful manner of looking at the guy, because I can eat the guy up from inside and out and he has no clue, whereas to the man, he just can't hide that. He
needs to be mature.
He needs to, So what I taught my team always is, your staff, they are your children. Your staff. So if you think that girl is sexy and I definitely want to get down with her, she's your daughter. Would you do that? Ew, no. Oh, really? Well, she's somebody else's daughter. So come on, give her the respect she deserves. And I would also wear the skirts, but I'd always have them over the knee, or, you have a little split. Me personally, I'm talking about me, not about other people. I I respect the dress code. My dad always taught me more is or less is not necessarily more, and more is not necessarily less. You don't need to dress trashy to be classy, and you can be very sexy and have completely fully clothed.
Yeah.
It's about how you stand in your shoes, how you stand tall, and how you present yourself. So I've always kept that in the back of my mind, and I always got the compliments, which I always appreciated. Like, you always have that presence when you walk into a room. So with women who have that presence who walk into the room, there are men who are going to be the predators, like, oh, I want a piece of that. How do we women handle that situation? You need to make sure that you stand your ground.
Yeah.
Those jokes that I used to get in the team, I could laugh about the jokes, and I would sometimes listen to them. And as a manager of the department, sometimes when they go too far, I'd be like, hey, hold on a second.
Can I add something to just what you are saying now? I've worked 24 years in a very large company. I don't accept jokes. As soon as I hear a joke, I tell them, don't do that anymore with me. Don't you ever do that with me.
Yeah.
So, but
You stand your boundaries.
You
stand your ground.
I do create some enemies, because then they treat you differently, because you are grouchy, you're dominant, you are bossy, etc. But I am respectful with my energy, and if you, there is a difference, and you need to have that courage also as a woman
to say
do that.
no, stop.
Yes,
I don't appreciate
and
it.
don't be part of the team. I don't mind to not be part of the team.
I've seen a video of this girl. She's a TikToker. I'm not on TikTok, by the way, but I saw this video, and what was remarkable of it was she works out in the gym, and she records all of her trainings, and you could see on the recording this guy comes walking, and you just see his face, like he has that nasty look on his face. And there's a lot of more guys working out in the gym, by the way. She's not by herself. And this guy goes and he sits right next to, a bit close to her, and he's working out, but he's like staring. And then the girl goes tell her boyfriend, this guy is staring at me. Boyfriend goes work out there, and the guy doesn't stop. He keeps staring. So then in a while, the girl just turns around, starts staring at the guy, and then she walks on straight to him to tell him, I've seen you, I've been watching you, you've been watching me, and I don't like how you're staring. And the guy's like, no, I'm just looking around. And when she told him, I've recorded you, I have everything, and then that's when the guy is like, why does it have to go that far? And I think that it goes. You get sexually harassed everywhere. Like in Holland, catcalling, you get a fine for it. So, I think that's those steps have to be taken seriously. If you have that evidence, somebody catcalling you, or you have that evidence that somebody sexually harassing you, you get a fine.
Yes.
That's simple.
Brian, I know you wanted to say something.
No.
I heard that.
I'm trying to be like very polite and like not jump into the comments like in between conversation. But also with gender, like gender identity. I have been like sexual harassment all my professional careers, and every place where I work, I was seeing like, oh, you're the gay person, so you cannot get there because you're too gay for the position, or you're too gay for this, or everything. And I'm like, why people have to think because I'm gay I cannot get there? What
It's the same as women. Why do they think because
Yeah.
I'm a woman I can't get there?
And-
It's the same exact thing. Yeah.
And I don't remember her name. She's the girlfriend of Nick Jonas. This girl, I cannot remember her name, but I was seeing
Sansa?
yeah. But
Sophie.
this girl,
I don't remember.
she made a video, and she was
Yes.
filmed, and she was in a conversation, and she was saying about gender equality, and
Yep.
she was saying gender equality is not about a woman doing the same things as a
Priyanka
man.
Chopra was her name.
Yes, there you got it. That's the name. So it's not doing the same things as a man. Like a woman will go and lift 100 pounds and do construction works. No, that's not equality. Equality, they means that a woman can be in a higher position, and she will not be looking as less because she can get pregnant, or she have the period, or menstruation, or all those things, so that she cannot be counted because she's a woman. She go through things that a man doesn't, and
I'd
that's
like to see a
all
man go
about
through a
a,
period for once. See how he survived that.
well,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
excuse me, but I have my days. So I have my days, but
All jokes aside, Brian, your point is very, very on point. The fact that a woman has menstruation, she does PMS, she gets pregnant, doesn't make her any more, any less. Because you're gay, doesn't make you any more, any less. I'll take it even a step farther. I had an conversation with a client, and she pulled the black card on me. I flipped the switch. I said,
black
wait,
card?
yes. Because we're black, we're different, and then you treat us, wait, hold on a second, honey. No.
the black card.
I know,
Yeah.
dare she?
Yeah, how dare she? I flipped a switch on her.
I-
No, sorry. We
Listen,
have 90
listen.
plus different cultures on the island. Everybody, when we cut same color blood, don't pull the black card on me. I was so upset. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why would you do that?
Here in New York, it becomes a trend. It's a trend. Here in New York, everything is
Black
because
Lives
of
Matter.
black.
Oh, please.
Oh my
Everybody's
God,
life matters. We're
that's
still
it.
human beings.
Yes.
So I get very passionate about it. I was just reading here. They say, and this is focused on women, but also on the sexual harassment. 68 countries in the world do not have laws against sexual harassment. 68 countries in the world. So that means 235 million women who work do not have any legal resource. Like, what the hell, man? That's insane. That's a lot. That's a lot. And then I was looking up tips for sexual harassment, how you can prevent it in the workplace. They mentioned the things the workplace should give training. They should give you tips in what you should talk to. You should talk to your manager. You need to solidify. You need to talk to your lawyer. You need to have proof or evidence. You need to stay away from the person. So there's a lot of tips and options. I can give you a whole list, ladies and gentlemen who are out there listening. There's so many things that you can or cannot do. They'll tell you wear a longer dress, tighten up your buttons, don't talk to other people and whatnot. Yeah. In the end, when we talk about sexual harassment, you can be fully clothed. They can pull your hair, like Ariana mentioned her experience, and it's still sexual harassment. Yes. The point here is that you do not invade my private space if I did not give you consent. You need to respect, period. Yeah. Brian took it a little farther. Sexual abuse, they say, don't worry, we were all having fun. No. The moment I say no, it's not right. It's not okay. If I don't feel comfortable, it is not okay. And for those...
Even if I didn't say no, I was not able to
You're
stand
not
by
able.
myself.
You were not conscious.
I was sick. I was throwing up. I was really bad.
Yeah. Your body language said no, then people should not invade your space. Sexual harassment, abuse, anything that is inappropriate, or how do they call it? Implicit or implicit or explicit, it's a no. If I give you that vibe, no, it's no. You go to the gym and you want to googly eye some chick and you want to look up her butt. You're not supposed to be doing that. I mean, so you're telling me that I can't wear my tight shorts because my butt looks good because it's going to provoke you? No, sorry. I can pretty much wear what I want. You need to control yourself. That's my 2 cents on that. While I was talking to you about the account that I follow, it's insane because they mainly focus on India because India seems to be a high, and now you see the numbers. Yes. It's Turkey's even higher. And then we talk about the burqa and the women in their clothing. When I was in Holland, I would talk to Muslims, and I'd ask them. They say, the woman has to cover her neck. She has to cover her hair because she will provoke us. Wait, hold on a second. Because she has beautiful hair.
Jewish are the same. Jewish are the same.
It's ridiculous.
I'm like, I don't get it. Everything that they do is like, woman cannot do this because it will provoke a man. I'm like, why the man is not able to keep his penis in his pants or what?
He can't be mature.
I'm like, I think
and I agree.
The Jewish and the Muslims have a vibrator as a dick.
Yeah, come on.
Everything turns them on.
I mean, and I agree.
Everything.
There's beautiful
Even
creatures
the
out
hair.
there. There's beautiful creatures out there. Beautiful men. They're beautiful women. Respect and enjoy that, and just enjoy it in a respectful manner. Be mature about it. Dina said it. Be a mature man, mature woman, and respect. If I see a good-looking piece of guy walking by, I will definitely look at him, but I'm not gonna maybe I will undress him, but I won't be like,
I like you. I really like you. Can I get your phone number?
please. I mean, I will never forget when I went out and I was like, I'm too old for this shit. I went to the disco. I think it was 7 West or East. I don't remember what it was. And I had this little 19-year-old come up to me, hey, douchey, how you doing, beautiful? I was like, what's up, fool? See you later. Ah, man, you don't like young guys? I was like, I can be your mom, please. Well, this young guy can show you some stuff. Boy, please, don't let me slap you. Walk away. Do me a favor. Walk away. But that is also a form of sexual harassment because I told you, like, not interested, and you continue pushing.
Yeah.
Like, hello?
You know what? I'm going to share something with you guys. Something happened to me a couple of days ago. I went out together with my daughter, and a guy came to us, a very big, my kind of guy, and he was in one of my soirees, and he lowered himself because he's big and tall. He's low. We were sitting, and he said to me, "Oh, you are alone." I told him, and he asked me, "Where is your boyfriend?" And I told him, "No, I'm single. I don't have a boyfriend." "Oh, you don't? Oh, then I can come and sit with you then." And I told him, "No, I have my daughter here." "Oh, is she your daughter?" And he started flirting with both of us. And I told him, "Hey, how old are you?" And he told me his age. And I told him, "You could be my son." He said, "No, I'm at the right age. I can take the daughter and the mom."
Oh my God.
I took a breath because look, what I do as a living, I choose whether I entertain that or not. Okay, that night he was not. I decided to not give him the pleasure to be a very important part of my night. So I told him, "Look, go ahead and sit down. I'll call you if I need you." And he went and sit down. I took the dominating spot. He went and sat down. And I said to myself, "Dina, sometimes you just need to breathe and deal with those young men, not matured men, as they are supposed to be dealt with, as child,
Go
as
sit
children."
in the corner.
Go sit.
Wait till I tell you to come out.
Yes, go and wait.
You know, so we talked about a lot of
Follow
things.
my orders.
Yeah, follow my orders. When I say jump, you say, ask me how high. So we talked about sexual harassment and a little bit of sexual abuse. I thank you, Brian and Ariana, for sharing your stories. For those ladies and gentlemen out there that have gone through it or are not sure if it's what they've gone through and you want a little more information or you need a listening ear, you can always reach out to us because we will definitely help you out. If it's even getting to the point to having to take legal action, we will assist you in that sense. We are not doctors. We are not therapists. We are not policemen. We are not lawyers, but we can give you the advice that can help you to move forward.
Definitely.
We can help you to heal and guide you to heal those wounds. Sexual harassment is not okay. If somebody makes you feel uncomfortable in the workforce or not the workforce, and you feel that gut feeling like Ariana talked about, it is okay to not feel okay. You should not apologize for the perpetrator. If you are the victim, you should never apologize because it's my fault or I did something wrong. No. You have your right to wear that skirt the way you want to. You have that right to walk around freely. You have that right to sit in a bar by yourself and have a drink and nobody bother you. Yeah. So do not feel like, oh my gosh, it's my fault and I need to shut up about it. In Brian's case, he chose not to move forward with legal action and I respect him for it. There are many of you out there that will do the same, and that is also okay. It is your choice, but it is important that you do heal and you do forgive so you can move on with your life. Yeah. Don't let it take you over.
That was the most important for me, healing and try to go forward. And I decided just to walk away and not talk to these people anymore, block them from my life, and heal the what they did to me.
And if you are I'll work about the workforce. If you're in an area where you work and somebody approaches you and you don't feel comfortable, you are entitled to tell them no. You are entitled, like Dina says, do not do these jokes with me because I do not appreciate it.
No.
And if they put you on the blacklist, you tell them what's wrong with that. So it's okay for you to speak to me in that manner, but I cannot tell you how I feel about it. That's not how it works. And go to your HR, go to your manager and report it. Do not be afraid. Do not think that you're in the minority when it comes to sexual harassment. As I mentioned before, 235 million women have no legal resources or options in the world to take action. So the only way you can take action is stand tall and stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Right, ladies?
Yes.
Let me see. I think we're almost done with our time today. We actually are 1 minute to reach our 1 hour.
So
Right.
let's talk about Will Smith. No, I'm joking.
That's been banned. Hey, I wanted to thank you for taking the time to come and talk about this topic. It is definitely a very delicate topic. We talked about quite a few delicate topics, but this is definitely one that we should talk about more. For you ladies and gentlemen out there, you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. There are more people that go through these things, and it's okay to talk about it. If you don't feel comfortable talking to your friends and family, you can always reach out to either Dina, to myself, Ariana, even Brian, and we will gladly assist you. We can assist you so you can get to that process where you do love yourself and you do feel on top of your game and can continue with life, because it should not ever interfere with your day-to-day. And if it does, reach out to us.
Definitely.
Yes. Do we have anything else to add on before we close it?
Social media.
Yes, but that's Brian.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I have a lot to add, but Brian is our social media and our sponsor guy. So go ahead, Brian.
Okay, so if you want to contact us, you can find us through our social media. Is on Instagram is at PillowTalk297, and on Facebook is PillowTalk Podcast. Remember, you will find all our contact information, and follow us, like and share. Also like and share on Sopi Mix, our podcast. That will help us to reach more people. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Mwah.
Thank you so much for being with us. It's always a pleasure. We're looking forward to see you next week here 8 o'clock Wednesday night on Sopi Mix Studio. Pillow Talk is back next week. We love you. Ciao, ciao.
Pillow Talk, powered by SuccessBlizz. There is no force more powerful than a woman determined to rise. Yonilove, seduce from within. Matiz, enhancing your brand.